Hello, 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 and welcome to this week's episode of the She Got Lucky podcast. If you are brand new to the podcast, hello, I'm your host, Alicia Mafadia, and this is how we start your week. We start your week with a bang. We start your week with intention. We start your week with the conversations that are going to gear you up to not just take on the week like any other, but take on the week in a whole new level, in a whole new frame of mind. Now, if you missed last week's episode, go and have a listen because it sort of frames where we're going with today's conversation. So, in case you have missed it, I was on my way just over a week ago. I was on my way to the US. I was flying from Melbourne to LAX and then from LAX on to Tampa, Florida. So it was about, I think, 25, 26 hours of travel from Melbourne to Tampa. I was sitting there. Literally, I had the flight plan up on the screen in front of me. 7 hours in, 8 hours to go. An email popped up from Bridget with the subject line of important update for Freedom Queen Live. In the preview, it had, "Hi Alicia, this is the hardest email I've ever had to write, but deeply I know." And just straight away I knew, and everything just sort of sunk. Now, my heart sunk reading this message for so many reasons. The first being I wanted to go straight up to the cockpit of the plane and ask them to turn the plane around. We were just almost halfway. Surely we could just turn around and head back to Melbourne. But the other part was the fact that I knew how many people this would be affecting. I knew what this meant for the 400 plus women who were traveling from all over the world to come to this event. I knew what it meant for Bridget and just all the emotions. Now, whilst I have had Bridget on the show before, I felt like, one, this is very timely and we needed to talk about this. You know, it's just happened. This is really one of the first times Bridget is sharing her experience and what has happened in the past 2 weeks. But as well, it just really is in line with what this podcast is all about. Going behind what you see on Instagram, we're going deep into what it really takes to get lucky in the world of business. And to put on an event of this scale during a horrific event, safety concerns, safety issues, there's so many moving parts. And to be able to hear it firsthand from Bridget herself is such an incredible opportunity that I'm so grateful she's jumping on today's podcast episode and sharing it with you. She's already told me that I can ask anything. There's no holding back. She's going to share it all. And this is exactly what the She Got Lucky podcast is about. And I'm really excited for this conversation. So let's dive on in. Bridge, how are you feeling?
There's not really a word to describe how I feel. I've noticed I've developed a new vocabulary, or I'm in the process of developing new language and vocabulary for how I feel, because there's not a word, because there's so many dualities in the emotion. There's sadness, grief, anger, power, gratitude, joy, devastate. Like there's so many things in one, and that there's not like one real word fully describe it.
So let's go back to that, the point where you heard about pretty much what was potentially going to happen. You know, you were going full freaking steam ahead, like 100,000%. You were like, let's freaking go. This is going to be absolutely epic. You had all these incredible women, 400 plus women coming from all over the world. Can you talk us through like the points where you sort of started to think, my gosh, I don't think this is going to be able to go ahead?
So when I arrived at the Vinoy on Monday evening, it was super late at night. It was like 11 p.m. And I started asking all the staff. I started asking, because I got news of hurricane, but not like, you know, my family lives in Florida. Hurricanes are very popular there. They happen a lot. And I started asking locals, like every single person I ran into, and a couple of the people that worked there for 26 years, 30 years, they're like, Bridget, don't worry about it. It's going to be fine. Like, it's all good. Some locals were like, it's just a storm. And so I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to keep going. So I go to sleep. Tuesday morning, I wake up and there's like pings, like nonstop on all the different channels. There's other issues that were happening with scheduling and things that were non hurricane related. And then I got on a call with the director of the hotel, and that's when they said, we're either going to adjust this weekend, and we were going to do something where, because at first they thought on Thursday it wasn't going to be like a catastrophic hurricane. They thought more so that it would be, okay, we're going to see some damage, but the event could still go on. So I'm like, okay, well, maybe we could move the mixer, not do that. Maybe move it to Friday. Like, we just started coming up with creative ideas. Or the second thing was potentially rescheduling it. What a lot of people didn't see, but if you host events, you'll learn this, or you'll just learn things when you do it at this scale, which is there are certain thresholds that I had to meet to officially make the call and say to everyone, no more. And so there were certain deadlines where if I had called it too soon, that would have meant that I wouldn't have been able to protect any of the attendees and they would have lost it all. So, like, let's say I called it too soon and then actually nothing was coming because somebody, different people were saying different things like, oh, I actually wouldn't cancel until it's category 4. And at that time, it's category 3. So if I had called it too soon, we would have lost everything. So as the day went on, around about, I would say, 5 o'clock is when things started getting really serious. I was listening to, we have like chats and groups, and now I'm going to run the whole thing differently in terms of communication moving forward. But I was listening to different attendees. They're like, hey, my flight's on Wednesday. Now, luckily, or I'm very grateful that majority of the people that were flying in were flying Wednesday, Thursday. Majority. Obviously, that wasn't the case, Alicia. I know that you were obviously on your way there. For my people that were further away, like you had to fly in, but for the majority of the people, it was Wednesday, Thursday. So as we're getting things coming in on the end of Tuesday night, I'm like on nonstop phone calls. I'm like, it doesn't matter. Because at that point, they still hadn't announced the evacuation of the area. No one's like that. We didn't get anything from the authorities saying it's officially evacuating in the St. Pete area. Other areas started to evacuate, like right on different beaches. Beach hotels started to evacuate there, but not that particular space. And I was just like, we need to reschedule this. The more and more we were sitting there, I'm like, November has to be it. Like, I started to sell myself on the new idea. I'm like in my hotel room. Robbie's there. I have another team member there who flew to be there with me. Like, we're in the hotel room because it wasn't just send out an email, cancel. There's send out an email. What's the communication now moving forward? So there's so many things to get in line with different contractors. The other thing, we had different contractors shipping stuff from like states away. So we had there's so many different communication things that had to happen in order to like properly make that send out. And so I feel really blessed that we were able to send it out. I was able to put out that email and post to ticket holders Tuesday evening or Wednesday super early in the morning, 1:30 in the morning. And stop most people from flying on Wednesday or Thursday. But like literally, Alicia, on Tuesday, I felt like I lived years. It went from waking up in the morning to like, shoot, like you were either going to have to change a schedule. During the day, I tried to stay so positive because that's just also who I am. I'm like, I was in a category 5 hurricane not too many years ago with my parents in Florida. And it was devastation, like category 5, insane. But like with my parents, they were just like, it's all going to be okay. If that's all that happens, like as long as we're together. And so there were so many things on Tuesday where different people handled things differently. So you have some of the 400 people that are like, yeah, let's go. And then you have some of the 400 people that are like, I hate you. This is the worst. And then you have some people that are like, cancel it now. And I'm like, we can't cancel it yet, but we most likely are. But I can't
Yeah.
communicate that with you yet because I can't say things to you without saying things to all 400 people. And so it
Yeah.
was a really interesting moment in time where that entire Tuesday just flipped within 12
Mm.
hours. And then the next morning, they still hadn't called the evacuation yet until like, I think it was 12 o'clock. And then we were already in the process of packing up our stuff and getting out of there.
My gosh. So, in that decision too, like, yes, we're going to call it now. What about security for you? Because obviously, that's going to be a big, big thing. You know, safety for everyone else, but as well, like, you have put so much into this event, not just talking like energy and time and effort. We're talking, you know, like last time I think we spoke, Bridge, you'd put 6 figures into this event.
No, minimum, what I've already invested is 400,000.
Mm,
But and for me, it's not about the money, but I don't think people
yeah,
realize that. I think of like some people who are maybe more angry or whatever. I
yeah,
understand. I have compassion. Believe me, I just did a whole live on this today. I understand. I'm a frustrated too. But
yeah,
I think some people think maybe Brick is just sitting on her high horse collecting cash. There's no cash.
yeah,
That I'm
yeah.
actually in terms of expenses of the event. There's a negative. That for the year, $400,000,
Yeah.
no profit, no nothing. The whole point of Freedom Queen Live wasn't even to profit in the first place, is to bring people together. And I think I've seen so many different things and projections and ideas. It's like it was never about the money. I actually went into the negative, not
Yes.
financially, like my
Yes.
own like money that from building a high cash flow company, but I'm talking about expenses of the actual event. You know,
Yeah.
it's like what 400,000, that was the minimum.
Mm.
$400,000. It's like yeah. So there was that. And then there was like the mental capacity
Yes.
too of being a human. I say, oh, I'm superhuman and superwoman, but I'm also human. And it's like, yeah. So that was interesting.
Yeah. And that's the thing, Bridge, is like, I think that I haven't run events, but I also have had plenty of friends who have. And I know that they're not all the glitz and glamour that everyone puts them on. You know, I'm going to run this event and I'm going to host and everything like this, and I'm going to make all this money. And I know that events aren't what makes all this insane money. Events, and especially for you didn't cut corners. And this is what I was saying to people. You didn't like, you were going all out on this event to make it an experience for everyone coming.
Mhm.
So making a profit, that's like the event itself, Freedom Queen Live, I straight away I was like, I know that this is an investment for Bridge into her community, into the Freedom Queen Live movement, you know, into
Yeah.
what's to come. And so for you said that you had to sort of wait to make a call for the safety and to also protect everyone else who was coming and who had booked flights, booked hotels,
Yeah.
XYZ. So what about for you in way of like insurance or protection coming into Freedom Queen Live too? How much of those sort of investments have been able to carry over, and how much of that are you going to need to invest further?
We don't know yet. We're still in the right now today the process of negotiating the new contract at the
Yeah.
hotel. But because I made the call at the right time, we were able to move at pretty much majority. But there were still
Yes.
losses. There were still big cuts that because so Tuesday morning, what I started doing, taking action on is precautionary, kind of like buffers, which meant more money dumping into those buffers. So basically, it
Mhm.
was like creating situations where we could go on with the event, if we couldn't go on the event, you could move it. But that meant putting in more income to change the certain schedule or the drivers or shipments, or I had a huge events team flying from around the world. And so, yeah, in terms of experience for the customers that are coming, for the people that are going to be there,
Mm.
I'm reimagining Freedom Queen Live. Like I don't want it to be the same. The event people told me we could just copy paste the event. And I said, I don't want to copy paste event. I don't want to do what we were originally. I don't want to from a strategy lens. I think that's not a good idea. I think more importantly, from an energetic, a mindset and identity lens, we're not meant to do what we were. We're new. I'm a new woman now. Everyone's different now. Like, we can't go back. I returned all my clothes. I was like, forget these clothes. Like, we're getting new clothes for this. I'm not wearing this stuff. It's like that we're not doing it the same way. So from like an insurance lens, because I made the call when I did, the majority of the things were able to shift over. There were still many losses for obviously the company, but also for people around that I couldn't control or help that in those situations. But what I do know is that Freedom Queen Live 2.0 is going to be absolutely insane.
Yes. Okay, so let's take a step and let's look forward to Freedom Queen Live 2. So can we talk about, and I might jump back because I think there's still parts that I want to talk about, but I want to talk about Freedom Queen Live 2.0 because they're even just I think something so incredible was I went into the Facebook group. So when you get your ticket to Freedom Queen Live, you jump on into the Facebook group, and straight away when I go in there, Bridge, I'm like, this event is going to be insane. The women who are introducing themselves and everything, I was having a look through and I was like, this is such a vibrant, this is the women who are coming are just, I see them, they're going places, and I'm like, oh, far out. Wherever I was in my business, wherever I would be, this is the event to be at. And so when I was looking through their responses and their communications, it was so inspiring in a sense because I was in awe of you, but I was also in awe of the way that, I don't know everyone, obviously, but the way of majority of the women in that group were handling this.
Yeah.
And I think that says so much about them as well. But everyone, there's this energy of 2.0, 2.0, 2.0. And it's going it's just going to be insane. The experience of this for everyone has been different, but I think it's been, did they say, and you'll know better than me, but did they say that this is one of the worst that's hit Tampa in 100 years?
Yeah, there hasn't been anything like this in 100 years. Like, the chances of it, the guy that had worked there, he's an older gentleman. He's like, I've been here for 30 years. That Monday night, I'm asking every local, he's like, don't worry about it. If it gets to category 4, then I would start to be concerned and cancel. But not going to be a thing. And yeah, what are the odds? There are no odds.
Yeah. And I just think I obviously, and you as well, you've got a 3-day event where Freedom Queen Live ticket holders, they can come, and you've also got anyone, and correct me if I'm wrong, but anyone else can also attend. They can buy a ticket, and you're pretty much, in addition to everything else, you're also raising sort of money that you can actually give back to those who have been affected by Hurricane Helene. So you're actually, in addition to that, so we recognize how destructive this has been and what a hard time it is for so many people. I'm also in awe of the fact that you've also creatively come up with a way that you can give back and help people who have been directly impacted. But I've just gone on a tangent and I lost myself along the way.
Just point out to women, the women in the Facebook group, I think that's really movement, because what I noticed this too, and that was the first thing I noticed. I never once told anyone that I never told or asked anyone to all right, guys, let's get back together. People just moved. They were like, I'm on the rise. This is going to be better for us. This is the, and obviously that can't be the case for everyone, but this is the best thing that ever happened to me. People were all the different emotions: excited, sad, disappointed, frustrated, grateful, happy, all at once, but strong. I'm gonna go forward in this and find a way to make this be the best thing ever. This is God has a plan, trusting that it's always working out for you. One woman messaged me today and she's like, I just want to let you know I have tickets to Tony Robbins in November, and if it's the same weekend, I'm going to cancel Tony Robbins and forfeit the tickets because I'd rather be at Freedom Queen Live. And I was like, I never asked anybody to do this, but I was going to teach on how to build a movement at Freedom Queen Live, but now I feel like I can just demonstrate. Here's how, because that's it. And so many women, you're right, the positivity has been enormous, despite it also being one of the most challenging times ever.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think right there, like, I think the success of people is really dictated by, you can feel the emotions, when things are tough, you can absolutely feel into the emotions. But I think the success is dictated by how quickly people can pick themselves back up, how quickly people can sort of keep moving,
Yeah.
despite the fact that it might be hard, it might be XYZ. And so for you, as soon as you knew, like, this isn't it for Free and Clean Live, there's going to be a Free and Clean Live 2.0, and like, we're not far away. So how much time did you sort of give yourself, in a sense, you'd made that decision, incredibly tough. And I think for you, I can only imagine that you were feeling into all these women. I know how disappointed they're going to be, but also their safety is number one. So how much time did you sort of give yourself before you're like, let's freaking go, 2.0, let's go?
Well, everyone else started posting 2.0. I didn't come up with 2.0. People just started saying like Freedom Queen Live 2.0, and I'm like, all right, 2.0. But the first, I would say Wednesday and Thursday, I was just in shock. I had to make a lot of decisions. I had to be very like the freedom queen of, we need to make smart decisions here moving forward. I had at the hotel like tons of shipments. So I had to migrate those from Tampa to the other location in Florida. There was only, thank God, there was about 6 or 7 people in the hotel that were attendees. So that was really easy. I got to see them and like make sure, okay, you're going to your families, like make sure. And like I was doing so many other things. I think too, people maybe assume, I don't know what they think I was doing, but we're like running around, talking to people, connecting to people, trying to figure out the evacuation, put out more communication. You have people nonstop messaging. At the time, my team was traveling back, so they were offline. Like there wasn't really I mean, now I have so much wisdom, Alicia. Now I'm like, okay, we're gonna have hurricane plans. We're gonna have emergency plans. We didn't have any of those things. And I've already looked at it all and thought, well, what can I do better next time? Because you've learned from this, right? So there are other things that I'm now planning to do. We'll have for every single conference, or I've ran events for years, but not at this scale. So those first 2 days were majorly like strategic, logistical, logical mind. It was just like, okay, now we need to do a live in the Facebook group. Attendees need to see you. You need to be there with them. Okay, great. I'm going to get ready for that. Boom. Okay, I'm in a brand new hotel again. Boom. Boxes are everywhere in the hotel. People are angry. Mad messages, joyful messages, hotel, hurricane, human, relationship. Like there's so many things. And so for those first 2 days, I was okay. The first 2 days, I was like kind of like in shock, numb a little bit, like, woohoo, it's going to be all right, but we just need to make decisions and move. On Friday morning, I was great. Friday evening is when I started to experience immense grief. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday is when it went dark. Like deep pain. Like if you, I don't know if you ever went through like a breakup or like a death in the family. Like it's almost like a void that you can't feel. It's like, oh, like you don't, that level of pain to like you don't really know what's going on. Like you're just kind of like, so I took a break from social media from Friday evening to Sunday. I deleted Instagram off my phone. I set up sort of automations to like send to our email, because I was like, if I don't allow myself to take care of me, nothing, I can't help other people. And I'm someone who feels a lot. And so I was putting those 3 days, I basically blamed myself for the hurricane. Like I was putting that level of pressure, like this is all your fault. People's homes are destroyed because of you. Like that's the level of insane pressure I was putting myself. But I'm also like really allowed. I gave myself those 3 days to just grieve and feel and be a human being, because yesterday I woke up like, okay, it's time to fly now. Like, trust your wings. You went through the storm. let's move forward now. We're going to keep going. But that, like the first couple of days, I was okay. I was just processing. It's like pretty normal in traumatic situations. You're just like, find a solution, grieving. Now, healing and building in a different way.
So, what would you say the biggest realizations in way of 2.0 is going to be so different from the lessons you've learned and, from the person you are now?
Yeah.
What would you say is going to be different? What can people sort of look forward to expect? Especially those, the thing that I love is so many people have been like, I can come to this one. Like I've been seeing it everywhere. So what are some of the learnings and the up levels that you're going to be bringing to 2.0?
Well, we have last time I checked, there was 120 something people on the standby list. And my DMs every day are like, can you tell us the dates? Can you tell us the dates? Can you tell us the dates? I'm like, I'll know soon. I'll know soon. We're going to Taylor Swift it style and like open it up for a couple hours and close them again.
Yeah.
So a couple of things, like the first Freedom Queen Live 1.0 was the way that I now look back on it felt more of like a fun conference. Like, come on, everybody, let's go to Freedom Queen Live, a fun, like a conference. This one feels like that felt quantity. This one feels quality focused. This one feels like, first of all, I'm redoing the marketing for it. So the person that I'm directly speaking to is someone who's a business owner that is like, I'm like a business owner. Like I'm a sophisticated, like high level, whether you're in the beginning stages or you've already made multiple millions, like the way you see yourself is like a quality person in terms of how you're building your business. Like you're not here to just hit a milestone. You're here to really build something that is an incredible high end movement. So quality focus for the people that are coming to it. And you can also see it too from the people that are signing up now. They're like, it's different. It's a different type of person that's signing up for the standby list now than signed up before, which is fascinating and interesting in itself. So definitely the person that we're speaking to it's not a different person. It's just a different side of your personality. It has a different context. It's more in depth. It's more serious. It's like for the woman, like this is not a networking event. You're going to network and meet a lot of people, but my real person, I imagine a very successful business owner, someone in Freedom Queen, she's sitting in the chair and is like glued to the seat and not leaving. And her journal is filled with nonstop notes and she's applying everything to her business so that she can go make more impact and income. When I go to conferences, I'm not there to make friends. I do make friends as a byproduct of being there, but my intention to be there is to build a business, to make impact, transformation. And so that's the new frame that I'm going towards with. And there was nothing wrong with the first frame. Like, we could have ran that event and it would have been extraordinary, but I get like a do-over. I get to change some things that I know now are necessary. So there's more power here now. There's so much more strength in the way that I'm marketing it. And even too, like when we were selling tickets before, we would do things like bonuses and buy now. Like the bonus is coming to Freedom Queen Live.
Yeah.
The bonus is seeing speakers on stage. The bonus is leaving with a journal and full of notes, an identity completely shifted, being the one to run a business at that level. So that's one piece. Another piece that I'm doing is I'm shifting around the schedule, the rooms a bit. We had originally planned something else. And again, I just want it to all be different. I want it to be even more interactive. Like, I want every single session where people are like, boom, mind blown. Like, I don't just want people to have fun. I want them to be expanded and like, I got the next best idea while listening to Alicia, while being here in my seat. And so I'm just changing some of the scheduling around and it's way more of a qualitative event. For example, I had a big meeting yesterday with the different teams that run different pieces of the event. And someone said to me, well, we could double the room size. She said, I know your goal is to bring in more people. And I immediately cut them off and said, no, my goal is not to bring in more people.
Yeah.
My goal is to have the right people in the room, the ones that are actually going to leave Freedom Queen Live and build a real company that's going to change the world. And so they were like, oh, So what that means is that we're not adding additional tickets to the 400. So there's 120 something people on the standby list.
Yeah.
Once I'm releasing the date to current ticket holders at the time of recording this, they'll have the option to opt in or opt out. And some people, unfortunately, won't be able to come,
Yeah.
which I've already worked through that whole sadness piece. So it's like, there's that. And anyways, I've tried to add like dark humor into my life over the last week to deal with everything. But there's that. I'm like, we're not adding more seats. No, we're not gonna double the seats in the room. It's not focused on quantity, it's focused on quality of the person. So we'll have again max 400, but the 400 people there, they want it to be there.
Yeah.
They weren't a plus one. They weren't invited by Sally down the street. They weren't told they need to be there. They wanted to be there.
Yeah, and I think the biggest thing is like, if you are listening, if you have been following the journey, whether you got a ticket to Freedom Queen Live 1.0 or whether you're thinking 2.0s for me, I think the biggest thing is there's no bonus or anything like that's great. You know, that's really, really cool, fun, love it. But I feel like in your gut, if you feel this, I need to be here. And this is for me, Bridge, is like, I had someone say to me, oh, well, like, are you gonna go back for it? And I was like, I will do whatever I can. Like, there's a few things on in November, but if this event is unlike any others. And I said that beforehand, but 2.0 is going to be unlike anything else because it is literally a 1 in a million chance of it happening the way it's happened. But there's this gut feeling of, yeah, you mentioned someone who was coming and going to Tony Robbins, and she's like, if I have to cancel, like there'll be others of everything else. But this right here and this experience and this portal, that is what I'm seeing. This portal, 2.0 portal for Freedom Queens. They're going to enter, and the level of conversations that are going to be had by speakers, the level of conversations that they're going to be having in this room, it's like you just don't have any option to go back and continue playing it safe and playing it the way you've been playing it, because you won't even, I feel like, you'll just walk away on a different level. And so 2.0, if you feel, okay, for whatever reason I wasn't able to come to 1.0, didn't buy a ticket or whatever, if you feel this energy, Bridget, what is coming? What is next? 2025 beyond, December 2024 and beyond, then this is absolutely your time. And so, Bridge, this episode's going to come out on Monday. So, start of the week. Hello, everyone. Will there be the standby list still, or should we put the actual you were going by below?
We should put the go buy your ticket below for sure. The standby will open, but if not, I'll send you the standby and we can put that in the show notes. They're two very different links. One says sign up and one says get on the standby.
Yes. Okay. Fantastic. So look, whether there's still obviously, I mean, literally a 1 in a million chance of this event happen, like as in this turn of events happening. So whether there's a standby link or there is the go and buy link, as Bridget said, there is not more seats. There is just, for unfortunate reasons, people who aren't able to come to 2.0, their tickets. That is a very select few. And so this event, if you are going to be in the room, jump in. The link is going to be below. Okay. Freedom Queen Live is going to be insane. And for me, I'm like, I want to spot on, as you said, Bridge, the experience part is so, so important. The interactiveness, the actually moving with whatever we're doing, not just sitting there and listening, moving and writing notes, moving and making plans, moving and taking action. And so that as well, it's like I'm adapting in the way that what I'm doing and what I'm bringing to Freedom Queen Live. And I know that every single other speaker and woman coming is going to be doing the same. So, Bridge, final message to someone listening, being like, okay, all right, I'm going to go click the link, check it out. Like, what do we say to her?
The quote that keeps coming up is such a time as this. Like, I don't know what it is about right now, but everything feels completely different. I don't know exactly why it happened this way, but I have always moved by way of faith and instead of moving by way of evidence. And any time that I ever moved by way of evidence, things went sour. But every time I moved by way of faith and that inner knowing that you are meant to do something, that you are meant to go, that you are meant to reschedule it for whatever reason, that you are, like when I signed up for my first conference and had no money, wasn't qualified to be there, but I knew I was going to build something. I just followed that faith. The evidence was saying you don't go. The evidence was saying bad, but the faith was saying, but this is it. And so anyone listening to this, I would listen to that, listen to the faith. If that is you and you genuinely are feeling that pull, like Alicia said, in your gut.
Yeah. I just think that's the whole illogical moves bring illogical results. And if you only move based on evidence, you're only going to move in a speed, in a way that a lot of people move. And the strategic part, yes, is one thing, but moving because of the feeling, moving because of the trust in yourself, the belief, the self-belief that you're not meant to do step by step by step, one step at a time. You're like 5 steps at a time. Let's go. This is really something else, Bridge.
Well, thank you for having me on. I think I was the first guest on the She's Got Lucky podcast.
You sure were. And our episode went woo.
And then we're back again, and it's like, here we are again. There's no luck here. It's finding the way and being the way.
Yeah, spot on. And I think this experience is just a testament to it's not luck. It's freaking, it's it's definitely not luck. Like, this is a 1 in a million series of events, but it is definitely not luck. The fact that you are standing here smiling today, this fact that you are a different person here today. And I think for anyone, whether it is looking to plan events, looking to create movements, looking to be unlike anybody else and be the freaking queen, the leader, then this is absolutely the space. So I will see you at Freedom Queen Live 2.0.
2.0. We're coming for you.
If you did love today's episode, please be sure to leave a review. I will be reading some of these in our upcoming episodes because it really does make my absolute day hearing what you have loved and the takeaways you have experienced from the podcast. But in way of Freedom Queen Live, I have now officially got the details for the upcoming event, for the rescheduled Freedom Queen Live 2.0. So I will put those details below. And if you are interested in coming, do not wait. Do not wait. As Bridget said, there are limited seats because it's not a case of her adding more. It was already sold out. The only seats that are now available are for those that are unable to attend the new date. So if you want to come, if you felt that urge, if you felt that in your gut, you need to be in the room. I hope to see you there. I hope to meet you in person at Freedom Queen Live 2.0.